Hello world! This is part 2 of advertising in BLE. The link for part 1 is in the description below, so make sure you've checked part 1 before this one. Today we'll understand the concept of scanning in BLE and we'll have a look at the different types of advertisements. First of all, what is scanning? Scanning is similar to listening. Here, the BLE device, which could be an observer or central, listens for potential advertising packets. How frequently does the scanner listens for these packets is defined by scan interval, and for how long a scanner listens for these packets is defined by scan window parameter. Similar to advertising interval, these two values also determine the amount of time for which the radio is on, which means they both have an impact on power consumption. If the scanner is a mobile phone or any other device which doesn't have power limitations due to a bigger battery, then it is best to make maximum use of the scanner, which means you may want to decrease the scan interval and increase the scan window duration rather than putting pressure on an advertiser which is say running on a small coin-sized battery. Scanning can be of two types, passive scanning and active scanning. In passive scanning, the scanner listens to the advertisements but never provides any response to the advertiser. Thus, the advertiser is never aware of the fact that the packets were received by a scanner. In case of active scanning, the scanner listens to the advertisements and then issues something called as a scan request, to which an advertiser responds with a scan response packet. The advertiser in this case is able to send across twice the amount of payload to the scanner. However, the scanner doesn't have any means to send any data to the advertiser. Now, there are different types of advertising packets, and they can be classified based on three criteria. The first one is whether the packet allows establishment of connections. The second is whether it allows a scan request. And finally, whether it is directed towards a particular device or not. The first type is advertising indications. This one will allow both connection requests and scan requests. This type can be used by a peripheral when it is interested in connecting with any available central, which means these type of packets aren't directed towards a particular central. The second type is advertising direct indications. This one will allow connection requests only from a particular central towards which the packet is directed. So again, this one can be used by a peripheral when it is interested in connecting with one particular central. An example of this could be a smartwatch, which is say advertising to connect with a specific mobile phone. Another example could be a keyboard or mouse, which is say trying to reconnect with a PC. So using this type, the reconnection becomes smoother, such that the user never even realizes that the device is reconnected. Thus, this type can be used by a peripheral when it is interested in quickly reconnecting to a known central, assuming that the central is also trying to establish a connection with it. The third type is advertising non-connectable indications. Using this type, neither connections are allowed nor scan requests. Both peripheral and broadcaster roles can use this type. Power consumption will be naturally low in this case as the advertiser isn't expected to receive any data. An example of this could be beacons in museums which say provide information related to proximity to certain exhibits. The fourth type is advertising scannable indications. This type allows scan requests, but it won't allow connection requests. Again, both the peripheral and broadcaster roles can use this type. Scan responses allow the advertiser to provide additional information upon request by a scanner, as we had already seen under the discussion of an active scanner. An example of this could be a warehouse pallet beacon, which say allows a central device to request additional information about the pallet. Now one may wonder that why would a peripheral use advertising scannable indications and advertising non-connectable indication types, as they clearly don't allow connections. So it is possible for a peripheral to enter something called as a non-connectable mode, wherein it doesn't allow any devices to connect to it. In this mode, it can send across either of these two types of advertising packets. So that is it for today. In the next video, we'll have a look at the contents of the advertising packets, and we'll also understand what is it that the packet is trying to convey to a scanner. Wait, we aren't done yet. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like and share the video. Also, check the description. You will find a link to a playlist which is dedicated completely to Bluetooth Low Energy. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye world.